Do you have preference about stay naked or with like towel, or for you is the same?
At home it's always naked, pretty much always, with friends, family, stuff like this. Here we have some towels and swimsuits. It's a public sauna. I guess it's just easier, then you can have a mixed sauna, you can have men and women in the same place. More convenient, if somebody's feeling shy, then they can also join. And then if you know the people better, then you can always have the conversation of, is it okay to be naked and people are fine?
I'm Marcello. I'm on a journey to sauna culture in Finland. I'm not used to sauna, so I wanted to experience what cool original sauna culture from Finland give to my well-being.
Just notice now the temperature is 7 degrees, so that's it. Okay. I was happy to something hotter. Is it enough?
Best part of sauna for me is the social part, meeting people, learning new ways of life.
Nice place. Finally see some people. Hello guys! Hey. Hi! I love this place. It gives me some, old vibes, like Game of Thrones, like old. I really love it.
So the one thing I really like about Finland is that when you come here, or when you're a Finnish person, you don't really have to learn to use a sauna in the way that it just kind of is such a part of the society that people just friends meet, and it's like as normal as going to, I want to say the supermarket, but it's like not that common, but almost. So it's such an integral part of the culture. We go to the sauna when we're maybe 2 months old, and then from there keeps on going. Friday night we go to the sauna, That's just a very typical thing to do. We take it for granted, like we don't really see how big of a part it is. And then when you go outside of Finland,
for you it's normal.
It's so normal, yeah. And then when you go outside of,
you realize. Okay.
And it's everywhere, you don't really have to go looking for it. You can just there's sauna in the buildings, there's sauna maybe in the apartments, there's the public sauna, there's in the gym, there's just so many saunas. So if you want to sauna, it's so easy.
Yeah.
In other places, you really have to look for it, and
maybe it's far from your place.
You have to book.
It's expensive.
Expensive as well.
A good example is how many times have you guys gone to a friend's house and you're spending the evening, and then suddenly it's like, let's go to the sauna. Hundreds of times, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
thousands.
Exactly.
Is there anyone here in Finland who doesn't go to the sauna?
I've never been. Of course there is, but
I've met a few. Yeah, it's always a shock, especially
But are they Finnish?
Finnish, yeah. But then whenever the person says oh, actually I don't really like to sauna that much, and then I always feel like part of me is like hurting inside, like
Dying is-
oh no, this is not a good
And
match.
actually, you're not finished.
Yeah, exactly. When I moved to Finland, and I came to study, and there was like in the student parties, like the first days I'm here, there was a sauna in one of the parties, and I see like people walking around naked, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? People are drinking, and there's some naked people. I'm like, oh, the sauna is warm, and I just felt like so excited, like, oh, I can do this kind of experience as well. It felt very free. And so I instantly kind of clicked with this part of the culture.
I mean, I spent most of my childhood abroad, but I always remember that coming back to Finland in the summer as a child, it would be one of the highlights that we would go to sauna. Sometimes 3-4 hours swimming, sauna.
When I'm traveling, there's a few things I miss about Finland, and sauna is definitely one of them. And although you might find saunas in other places, they have like weird rules sometimes, like, oh, you cannot throw water into the rocks. It's always very funny. You go to the sauna abroad and you see this Finnish stove that you know, like Finnish brand, and then they have a huge sign that says, do not throw, do not throw water.
I feel like Löyly is an integral part of it, and that's like, for me, when you throw the Löyly water, the steaming up of it, that's accompanied by the out breath. That's like the syvä huokaus. That's the moment of stillness. That's when you pause. It can be, like you said, Daniel, and it can be a party in the middle of a work week. The feeling is still the same. Löyly water comes up.
That is true.
Everything pauses.
When I want to have some really good moments, it kind of culminates as a peak when you're really like sitting with a good friend or one of my brothers, and then you like open up. So go straight to the point. How is it going? How are you feeling? It's full on therapy.
It's like no mask. When
Yes, you're naked and you just don't. You can see right through the other person.
You can have more serious conversation, discussion with the people.
For sure, there's space and time for it.
Okay. That's good.
That feels like an important point, yeah. Space and time for conversation.
I've sometimes even thought of it as in a ritual sense, as kind of, if you think of a sauna as a micro community, the one who has the sauna, the kauha, which you have the water, is kind of like a wizard wand. So he controls the ebb and flow of energy. And the fact that everybody is given a chance to be the wizard of the moment, to give the power to somebody, like, hey, do you want to throw? And as a Finnish person, it's always been that way, that there is no one centered on one person who has the control. It's like everybody is allowed to have control of the spirit of the sauna. So that's one of the best things of the sauna, that everybody is equal. And you give it to a child, like, hey, come on, now it's your turn, throw the löyly. It's a ritual in that sense. And when you go to places where it's like more like, no, like this, you're really losing a very key and fundamental thing about the sauna, which is the fact that everybody is given a chance to have that certain point where they're deciding, are you going to have or are you going to have just a little bit.
Ooh. Ah. Bye-bye. So how many degrees?
19.
19 degrees sounds warm. But
I know it sounds warm, but it doesn't feel warm. But I think this is perfect, like to cool down after the sauna.
Really, I think it's not the word that...
It's refreshing.
This is the reward.
This is the reward. We've been working for this.
We're working so hard.
A lot of my friends who are like have moved to Finland, for example, and then they've reported that, you know, they've never been naked with other people in their life except in the bedroom. And then suddenly they come across this culture where they're like, oh, I feel really uncomfortable being naked with other people. And it feels really like there's a lot of resistance, but all of them have reported that when they've kind of ventured that path into like, oh, I feel fully comfortable with how my body looks and the shape of my body, and that I can be with other people naked in my body, they've all said that it boosts their self-confidence and how good they feel. And I think that's like a gift, like a genuine gift that the sauna can bring. And this is like a cultural thing that we really need to pay attention to, because the sauna is becoming a big thing around the world, and you have all this like fitness and wellness kind of ideologies attached to it. But with that comes like, you know, you have to look good and stuff like this, but that is like, you have to be really respectful about the path you walk and really not start to look at people through the lens of, are they good looking and whatever extra ideas that might bring, but instead look at people of like, oh, we're sharing like vulnerably together, and we're in this space together, and I respect you, and we're naked and unclothed, and we really like need to listen and pay attention to each other.
We were talking about this sauna, which is a communal sauna, which is very international, probably the most international sauna I've been to. And there are many people who probably experience sauna for the first time, like students who are exchange students and people visiting Finland, maybe for the first time. And first years I started going there, like 7 or 8 years ago, it was very much like I would go nude, because the majority of the people would be nude, and it would be maybe more of a local crowd. And generally, gradually, when it became more international, I started just choosing a bathing suit, because I understood that there was people who were very uncomfortable there, and they're in a space, and they've been invited, and suddenly they are, you know, there, and they can't really, you know, escape that space so easily. So I can only imagine how stressful it can be for people who've never been in this kind of environment before, and suddenly somebody comes very close up to them, and even if it's just for throwing water or, you know, taking their towel or whatever. But I know that when I'm with my family or in a summer cottage, as someone says, it's not even a question. It's just like, you know, you go swimming naked. But then again, if you're with new people, you should never take it for granted. So you should always just be courteous and take other people in consideration. And I think this is just a good metaphor for life in general. So not to make it too complicated or say like, no, everybody should do like that. So you have to be flexible, and you have to be free and make other people feel free.